Welcome back to Kings at the Table podcast. We back at it, and today we're going to be talking about the first quarter of the NFL season, Juan.
Man.
But before we get into that, man, what'd you do this weekend?
Shouts out to my sister, my brother-in-law, Miguel and Monica Lara. They got married this weekend. Love you guys.
Hell
Shouts
yeah.
out.
It was hella fun, though.
Hell
I got turned.
Bro, I was faded too.
Yeah.
I got fucking faded.
Good
it was
times.
a good time. It was a good time. Congratulations to you too.
For sure. Well, let's get into the teams that are having good times right now, the top five. I said we could do our own power ranking right now. And,
Yeah, most definitely. This, to be honest, man, this season's just been kind of weird. Some of the, you can say a couple of the teams that are on that top five right now, you could see them being there. There's one or two of them that kind of like has me still like, man, I can't believe we put them on the top five. I mean, statistically too.
For sure. Well, I mean, let's get into it. I mean, I'm going to name about 6 or 7 teams, Juan, that are on the top of the standings, and we'll break it down from there. The Eagles are 5-0.
Of course.
The Bills are 4-1.
Yep.
The Chiefs are 4-1. Cowboys, Vikings, and Giants are also 4-1. The Niners 3-2. Ravens 3-2. Packers and Bucks also 3-2.
Yeah. Some of those teams should have, you would think they'd have a better record, going into the season, but things happen all the time. So
scheduling gets into
yeah,
effect
and
sometimes.
then you can see like how things actually really work out for some of these teams that have made adjustments going into this season versus last season. So I mean, I think that has a lot to do with everything, acquisitions, people who left, and everything like that.
For sure. Who you got?
So in my personal power rankings, I went and go ahead and I put the Eagles at number 1. They're hitting on all cylinders. They're amazing. They're good to watch.
They're undefeated.
They're one of those teams that I said that like things that happened in that offseason that helped them, make them what they are now, or the team that they are right now. So that's why I feel like the Eagles should be number 1. Right behind them, I got the Bills. I still think they're the powerhouse team. Unfortunately, that lost to Miami, which was a good game.
Yeah.
But, they took the L to Miami, and then after that, I got the Chiefs. They're still showing pure dominance. Every game they go in, you know what I mean? They just kind of like now remember like earlier we were always talking about like, man, I can't really call the Chiefs. I don't know where they're gonna fall, how they're gonna be, what kind of team they're coming out to be, but they're hitting on everything right now, and they're starting to look like that team that we've seen them before, and that game against the Raiders
last night.
Whew, man, Kelsey and Mahomes, man, they're still connecting like it's nothing.
4 touchdowns, though. That threw me off.
Did you play him in fantasy? Either one of those guys?
No, I don't have either one. I had Jacobs. He got off.
Okay, I mean, he put in work. But, yeah, after the Chiefs, I got the Cowboys.
Okay.
Only because Cooper Rush is the man.
Only because of Cooper Rush,
Because it's Cooper Rush.
Coop.
So then after them, I have the Vikings.
Okay,
That's my top 5.
That's pretty solid.
Who's your top 5?
I'm going to mix it up, though. I feel like I'm going to do it based on how I see it. I don't go based on just records. I just say who's the best team right now as far as if they would play each other. And it's a lot of, what if this team was playing that team kind of shit. But, hey, that's who I have as my top 5. And my first team is the Buffalo Bills. I just think that they're the best team in the NFL, regardless of them being 4-1. That one loss, they blew it themselves. No excuses. They lost. They have that one loss.
It was a tough one.
It was a tough one. And I think that, their defense is there still. And Josh Allen, I don't mean to bring it up, Juan, but he lit y'all up in that first half. It was like,
shit, dude. I was trying to stray away from them. I'm kind of glad I didn't watch that game.
I was like, God damn. It was like 350 a half with like 3 or 4 touchdowns.
That was crazy.
It was a trip, dog.
Lit it up, bro. Light it up.
And then the second team I have is the Eagles. I can't hate on them. They're undefeated. They're doing what they have to do. They're winning these games that they're supposed to win in a way. And, the thing about the Eagles, I can't put them at 1. And it touches home to you, Juan. It definitely reminds me of your guys' Steelers 2020.
2020, that's like 2 years
when you guys
ago.
went.
Yeah, well, we were nice like all season, but like they were all barely get by wins.
And I looked at your guys' record. You guys went 11-0,
and then we lost to the
Eagles. Could easily do that.
They could. Anybody could.
But there's something about that team that I can't see them being the team to win it all or to make it deep in the NFC. And I don't know if it might come off as hating, but it's just they haven't shown me yet. even though they're winning. Does that make sense?
In a sense, it does. But like, can you break down what you mean exactly by like you can't see them winning? Like they've been a lot of games that they've been playing where they play a little bit from behind, but they always make it up and they always come back to win. Obviously, if they're 5-0.
Yeah.
But like, what is it that you can't put your finger on exactly on them?
It's like when I go into the next game, they're playing the Cowboys, and I'm trying to break it down, and I'm like, nothing stands out from the Eagles. But if I were to say the Cowboys, their defense is dominant. They're probably top 3. I can't say the Eagles are a top 3 category of any
in any aspect of the game.
Okay.
Like
and
defensively, offensively, special teams, kickoffs, whatever.
Quarterback,
yeah,
running back, receiver. I can't say they're a top 3 in any category, but they're a good team.
They're getting it done.
They're doing what they got to do, so I'll put them at 2. Number 3, I'll put the Chiefs.
It's hella hard to put it. Like, you kind of want to throw them a little higher, though.
I do.
But
I do, but I can see them coughing up this year. And
like
these next couple of games,
they do have a couple of hard games coming up.
What was it, the Bills and
they got the Niners, and then they got a bye, and then I believe it's Tennessee.
So they got a little test coming up.
Yeah, they got a couple hard games,
but they're definitely top 3. This is where it gets tricky, and this is where we can debate.
Yeah,
I'm squeezing the Niners into the top 5, and I'm putting them at 4-1.
That's really high.
And they're 3-2. They lost to the Denver Broncos. I think that game could have easily been won. They could have won that game.
Yeah.
But the defense was, I just feel like our Broncos defense is pretty damn good. So that could have been a win. And then the Bears one, there's no excuses. They say the weather.
The weather game?
Never mind the weather, right?
Never mind the weather.
But their defense is just badass right now. And I think they could beat any of the other teams that would be in this position.
Yeah.
And the next one is the Cowboys. I can't not put them in the top 5. There's teams that I'm missing as far as the Vikings. You could put the Giants, even the Ravens. But that's my top 5, Juan.
That's a good solid top 5. Especially throwing the Niners, like we said. Like, I mean, never mind the weather for one of them. But that game against you guys, for a while, man, that was either one of your guys' games. Whoever wanted to score and stop punting, I mean, that's what it ultimately came down to.
Almost like who was going to lose the game, not win the game.
Yeah, almost like that. And, there are a lot of people expected a lot more from Jimmy G that game. But, I mean, your defense put the clamps on him, so that's what came out of that game.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, the next thing we're going to talk about is who was your biggest surprisers this year so far?
My biggest surprise, I might surprise you because it surprised me, was the New York.
We're full of surprises.
New York Giants, man.
Joe Judge?
Joe Judge is gone. And speaking of that just shows you how bad and how do I explain it? How valuable a coach is to a damn team. Now, you got the Giants 4-1.
It's damn near the same team as last year. There's nothing that they brought Galloway. Or was it Galloway? No, not Galloway. Galladay.
Yeah. But the coach, Brian, how do you pronounce his last name? DeBall?
DeBall. He's the ball.
He's the ball. But he's a great coach. I mean, I was looking at his history, and he's been an assistant coach on plenty of teams. And to get the Giants going without having the offense, all they have is Barkley. They don't have a quarterback. The receivers are not there at all.
No.
They lost their tight end. You can name maybe 2 or 3 players on the defense end. And it's like they're 4-1. They just beat the damn Packers.
That was crazy.
That's a trip.
Yeah, I mean they are a big surprise. Definitely didn't see them, being 4-1. I definitely saw them more at the bottom of the list.
Yeah,
and especially in their division. I mean, I saw them maybe above the Commanders, but yeah, not this high up. I mean, they're 4-1, and their division is tough.
Whoa, that's crazy. It used to be NFC East,
NFC Least.
Now it's the Beast.
It's the Beast again.
What do you think, Juan? Who's your most surprising?
The Eagles. I did not expect them being 5-0.
Yeah,
did not see that one come in. But somebody gave us a little foretold future that they were going to be good this year.
Yeah, he did.
And that was crazy. And everything he said was exactly on fucking point, which is the craziest thing ever. Their defense.
I didn't think they were going to be bad. I just didn't think they were going to be that good, which still makes them surprising.
Yeah. I mean, definitely I see them competing. Yep. I mean, they can only get better. Sometimes some teams can only say that, but I mean, for them, I seen them. I probably saw them in considering the fact that the NFC least probably just saw the Cowboys really just running the table on them, and then after that, whoever else. But for the most part, yeah, the Eagles for me is a big
Appointments / panic button.
Yeah,
Teams
these teams that definitely kind of not where they should be, not where they're supposed to be at right now.
Now, this is going to be kind of like a little segment, as far as should you hit the panic button or
is it too early still or
it's
what?
too early.
Yeah.
So, Juan, are you going to hit the panic button on the New England Patriots?
No, I probably wouldn't hit it yet. They are suffering the quarterback injury with Mac Jones. He's going to be coming back here shortly. I'm not exactly sure if he's ready to go this week. But no, I wouldn't hit it so far as to hit it right now. Not yet. What about you? What do you think?
I think I'm going to hit it. You know why? Because I don't see them making the playoffs, and you have to start panicking because you are, I don't know where you are as an organization. You got rid of Tom Brady. If you don't make the playoffs, what are you aiming for? What are you here for, Juan?
What are you here for?
So I'm hitting the damn panic button. Mac Jones is hurt. He might be coming back soon, but it's panic alert in New England.
All right, next team we want to talk about is going to be the Bengals. Is it panic time or is it just let it ride right now and see what happens?
Let's ride, Bengals.
Damn, Cincy, let's ride.
I don't think it's time to panic in Cincinnati. They had some tough losses, some that they could have won down the stretch, but I think their schedule's going to get a little easier and they're going to get a couple wins, so I'm not hitting that button. What about you, Juan?
I'm going to go ahead and hit it. You mean you made all these improvements for your offensive line and it's not really showing. You're sitting at a 2-3 record. You're not that flashy team that you were last year, and you had a lot.
They're one game back, though.
They're one game back. I mean, our division, the NFC North, AFC North is not as much as you would think it would be. But most definitely, like right now, I still say you need to hit the panic button because you dominated last year. A lot of your games. You dominated last year, and this year you're not looking all that amazing as you were last year.
So you don't maybe see them making the playoffs right now?
They might squeeze in.
Okay.
But it'd be like a really low seed.
And that's the reason you hit the panic.
I'd hit the panic button,
For
especially if you're coming off that Super Bowl.
Okay. So this next one is my Denver Broncos. Juan, are you hitting that panic button?
I'm fucking slamming that panic button.
Fuck.
Damn. No, man, you guys fucking Broncos country is hard to ride with right now, especially, these last couple games you guys have been putting up. You guys are kind of hard to watch.
Yeah.
You guys are hella hard to watch.
For sure.
And, I mean, where your defense is, stout. You have a stout defense. You guys are arguably in the top 5 rank.
For sure.
And your offense is just blank as shit. You guys, that's the hardest thing to watch with you guys is your guys' offense. Your offense doesn't move the ball at all. You guys punt a shit ton of the time of the games.
Yeah.
Your punter's you guys are getting your money's worth out of your punter for sure.
Well, that's what the route we went. The other punter was going to get paid, but we got this guy for cheaper, so our money's good with the punter. But yeah, I'm going to hit that
panic.
I'm going to hit the panic button. I'm going to hit it, but it's not going to let go yet. Only because I feel like it could change in the next couple of weeks. But yes, it's definitely hit. Our offense isn't moving the chains at all. At some point, there's a lot of fingers to be pointed, but
you want to point a couple of them.
There's a couple, and I want to go in on the Broncos so bad. But as far as
stay tuned, folks. It's coming. Man. It's coming.
I'm hitting that panic button on the Broncos.
All right, man. Next one we're going to talk about is. Sensitive subject. Pittsburgh Steelers.
I'm slamming that fucking button.
Slam that shit. I'll fucking slam it with
Their
you.
panic button right now in Pittsburgh. I'm not sure what's going on over there. Mike Tomlin is the shit, but for some reason it seems like he lost the locker room. So that's why the panic button is hit from this perspective. If you lose the locker room, and Juan, I'm big on Mike Tomlin. He's one of my favorite coaches in the league. But just don't lose that locker room. Get back on it. Get on the players. Find out what's going on. The alarm is on, man. It's panic over there. What you think, Juan?
Oh yeah, we're hitting the fucking button. We're hitting that shit. It's harder. It's hard as shit to watch a game right now, especially with the Steelers. Like, okay, everybody was like at first, get Trubisky out of there. Get Trubisky out of there. We got him out of there, and then now Kenny Pickett's kind of like, oh shit, a shitty situation because the number one thing I kind of feel is that offensive scheme. We don't have an offensive identity. And I mean, if you want to make it in this league, you got to have at least some kind of an identity. Are you going to be a run team? Are you going to be a pass team? Are you going to be a hybrid team where you can move the ball in certain different ways to get the defense to get different looks, and your offense can at least have a chance? But as of right now, dude, we're way too predictable. We're not getting any splash plays.
I like Pickett.
A lot of people do.
I like him.
A lot of people like
He
Pickett.
went against the Bills, man.
I know that was a tough one, but I mean, he did show heart.
He did. You see that whole little scuffle?
Yeah, with the whole little thing. You know, I mean, he wasn't afraid to throw it down.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, last time somebody tried to do that, he ended up getting the helmet to the head.
Oh, fuck.
Mason Rudolph trying to go against Garrett. But most definitely, I think it is a little bit of a panic time in Pittsburgh, especially offensively.
All right, Juan. Well, this next one is the Las Vegas Raiders. Are you hitting the button?
That shit was hit like 3 weeks ago.
Fuck.
It's fuck. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to begin.
What you mean? You hit the button?
I hit the button,
okay,
bro. Like I said, like
you just don't know.
It's a number of fucking things, dude. Like watching them, it's hard to watch them too.
Yeah.
It's like you want to believe, like, okay, they're gonna get shit going, and it's always coming back. Derek Carr looked like garbage last night.
Not really. He looked good.
A half.
Nah. He looked good. He was dropping some dimes to Devontae Adams. Well,
Yeah.
it is Adams, but
I mean, you just put it anywhere in the vicinity of Adams, he'll probably go up there and get it.
for sure.
But no, I mean, like they're just, I don't know. It might be that McDaniels factor.
Yeah.
It could be the McDaniels factor, but yeah, I'm hitting the panic button. Bro.
Why are you so sad about it, bro?
It's-
You're
it's
more sad
kinda
about the
disappointing.
Raiders than the Steelers.
Because at least I know where the problem is. With the Raiders, I really don't know what the problem is.
Okay.
That's the harder part about it.
I'm not hitting it. I'm shocking everybody. I am not hitting the panic button. And the reason why is their schedule is going to get a lot easier this next couple weeks. I can see them, and it looks like the next 7 games, they could easily win like 5 of them, and that puts them above 500. The way they looked the last couple games, they obviously beat the Broncos, and they looked really good against the Chiefs. I'm going based on those 2 games, and the games they lost were close. Now, it looks like they're starting to get momentum as far as their offense. It looks really good. And one guy that stands out a lot to me is Max Crosby.
Oh, he's a beast.
He is a fucking beast. He could easily be the defensive player of the year.
Coming up. Well, I mean, he was already showing signs of it since last year.
But, like,
He's
just
doing
sitting
it.
there watching, and they picked up Chandler Jones and all.
But he ain't putting
looked-
in work either, like how Crosby is.
He's not. And before the game started, I was watching the game with Adrian, and I was like, hey, I haven't heard Chandler Jones all year. It's all Max Crosby. And next thing you know, Chandler Jones against the Chiefs. He's getting in there. Now, if those 2 guys could start working together
And then get in sync.
and
yeah.
with that whole offense, I'm not hitting the panic button yet. All right? It's a little shocker for the Raider
I'm
fans.
surprised too. I thought you would have hit it already.
Yeah. So the next one is the Colts.
Fuck. The Colts, man. They're
They're only 1 game back, though.
They're only 1 game back, but I would hit the panic button. Only because of the fact that, okay, you bring in what's his
Ryan.
name? Matt Ryan, and you know he's a good quarterback, veteran quarterback, but again, it's not working out offensively. I mean, you did lose Jonathan Taylor. You lost him for a game. And then Nyheim Hines, he got hurt last game too.
You're talking about the Bronco game. That was the most boringest game of the year.
That was the
so
greatest
far.
game of ever, bro.
Fuck.
Prime time. I'd rather watch Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, man.
No, but you lose a couple guys like that, big offensive weapons and things like that. But at the same time, I feel like they're getting shorted when it comes to Matt Ryan. I believed this could have been a lot more success for him, but then again, could it also be the coaching scheme? Could it be he doesn't really fit the system that they have? But I'd hit the panic button because it's getting to the point now where, okay, you're doing this whole veteran quarterback, bringing in a veteran, and it's not working. You're going to have to get a new guy. It's starting to look like that. And especially if you have another bad season, I think it's time to draft a quarterback.
Okay. I'm not going to hit it yet. I'm not going to hit it with the Colts. Just the main reason is the division they're in. They're only a game back from the tight ends. The tight ends don't look all that great either. If you win the division, you're in the playoffs. So at this point, I'm not panicking. If you go about 3 games behind the leader of the division, then that's when you panic. It's still early in the season. Yes, they have a lot of problems on offense, but that goes with a lot of teams on offense. Their defense is really good. Not great, but they're a good defense.
It's good enough.
Yeah, and they had a couple injuries. Leonard didn't play. He's the freaking Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
So I think they'll be all right as far as the Colts.
for sure. Okay, so out of all those teams that we named off, who do you feel is the biggest disappointment so far this year?
Out of all those,
Yeah, I mean, there's a few more we could go along the list, but if you had to put your finger on one of them, or you got to put the blame on one of them, who would it be to you?
well, I mean, it would be easy for me to say my own team, but I don't think it would be them. I might have to go with the Steelers.
Yeah,
I might have to go with the Steelers one. I just think that I couldn't have pictured them 1-4, just because of the coach. He's one of my favorite coaches. You still had some big names there as far as defense. You know, I know you guys are dealing with injuries and all.
Yeah,
But that might be one of my biggest disappointments. You, Juan?
I'm gonna go say the Bengals.
I thought you were going to go Broncos.
Oh, fuck it, I might as well. Shit.
He's all, fuck you, you took my team.
You talk shit, bro. I'll fucking go right back at it. Let's go. Ready? Nah, for me, I think it's the Bengals. I picture the Bengals being 5-0. I could have.
Yeah.
I could have easily seen that, especially like how they were so big on picking up all these offensive linemen. And I thought like it was just gonna be a plug and play, and they were just gonna come out and just start dominating.
That's a good point, though.
If they claim to have fixed it, then they should. There's no reason why that offense shouldn't be explosive. Their defense is still good.
Yep.
You know, they're good defensively, and I feel like they should have been in the top 5, no problem.
But that's why they hit the panic button. I feel like they could still turn it up.
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends because now you're in the quarter way through the season. You got to see if you can figure out exactly what the problem is. Because
They looked all right the last couple games.
yeah, I mean they played.
But as far as biggest disappointment,
they should have been like at least 4-1
Yeah.
to 5-0
At this point.
Yeah,
At this point.
right now.
Good call. Well, we're going to get into the questions we had on IG.
We had
You
a
know,
couple questions.
Some of the followers we had. And one of the ones, shout out to Marty Bacardi. He said,
Thank you, bro.
What's the deal with these refs and the bad calls?
I think right now, as of right now, a lot of these calls are kind of like over the top, and they have been. Some of these calls have been a little bit too like, hey, now you're just babying the guy at this point, kind of thing. Especially when it comes to roughing the passers. But I mean, now that I think the NFL is getting so much, backlash, considering the fact of the things that have been happening to Tua, especially what happened to Tua.
Well, Juan, we talked about this on the phone, literally.
Yeah.
I texted you, did you see that hit on Tua? And it was a whole thing, and I don't think you saw it
I
live.
haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen
the
it when we
time.
talked about it, but
And then you gave me a call, though, later that
Yeah.
night, and you're like, dude, that shit was crazy. And I was like, I was worried about his health, like literally as a human. Not fuck all this football shit, all these memes is funny, whatever, but real talk, I was worried about his health.
yeah, no, that was serious.
And then we said this is about to be a trickle effect through the rest of the year.
And it's already coming into play right now. I mean, all these like normal sacks that we would normally see, and now those are roughing the passers. You can't touch the quarterback anymore. And it's like, what, you're going to put flags on him, then it's going to change the football game, and all these other things. Like especially some of these, like a lot of these wide receivers are starting to get these what are those called, the pass interference calls. Like they get barely anything, and then it's a pass interference. Like you can't do anything anymore, and it's more beneficial to be an offensive player than it is a defensive player in the NFL right now, because you do any little thing wrong and you automatically get flagged for it, versus it being an offensive thing. I mean, hey, it's getting too much now.
Definitely, it is. But the question is, what's the deal with these refs? I think the deal is they have a lot of fire up their ass too, though, because of this whole health thing.
They're under a microscope.
Yeah, they got one of the hardest jobs right now as far as sports, the NFL refs, because of health.
Yeah, player safety.
And I think the main thing though is they have to fix the whole roughing the passer before we get to the playoffs. And I think the best way to fix it is let it be like you could review it.
Then you're taking a lot of time out of the game.
But at this point, if you want to do a whole safety thing and you're just not going to let them review it, you seen like what happened last night with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
If that was the playoffs and they lost,
fuck.
that was bullshit. It was straight bullshit. The dude fumbled the fucking ball. Chris Jones goes down. How do you get roughing the passer when you have the ball? I've never seen that in my life. What in the fuck? Bruh, you got the ball. You got roughing the passer. That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, come on, Juan.
That's what I'm saying. These guys are under such a big microscope right now to any little thing. Like, I mean, at this point now we're talking about these guys' jobs.
Fuck.
Like you said, imagine if that was the playoffs.
It's exactly what I'm trying to express.
Like that shit would. Cities would burn, bro.
Yeah, for real.
Cities would fucking burn over some shit like that.
God damn it. Well, let's get to this next question, Juan. Shout out to Rorito79. Mojo said, "Do you think the new/younger coaches are moving away from the basic fundamentals of football?" And hold on. That's question 2A. This is 2B because they kind of go hand in hand.
They're about the same.
Shout out to Mondeezy45. He said, "When did these NFL teams actually consider analytics a position?"
I mean,
so
I feel like a lot of these coaches, like especially the younger ones, the ones that like I guess you could say don't have. It's more like a grit thing for me. As far as these coaches getting away from certain things, like you have all these younger coaches who they come in and then you got a superstar or somebody on your team and you kind of gotta like kind of cater to them in the sense of the way. I guess you could kind of say. That's what I mean. I'm not going to break it down exactly into specifics of who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, like...
Who are you talking about?
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
You got, like, Matt LaFleur. He's in a situation where he has to keep Aaron Rodgers happy.
Yep.
Because then what? Then you get a whole Summerfield drama like
but
we
that's
did.
A good way to... You got to point the players out and the coaches. So,
yeah. So, like, I mean... And then that's where, like, the coach teased, like Tomlin. Guys like that, they're well respected in the locker room, even though right now we just touched the fact that he might be losing that locker room. But at the same time, you have a coach like him who's like, nah, it's the next man up. You ain't going to do it. We'll get somebody else who could do it for you.
So with that being said, though, Mike Tomlin's in a whole different category than LaFleur as far as the fundamentals and grit and grind. I think LaFleur is more of this new era. Yeah. And that's kind of what I think Roto is asking is the new era coaches are not sticking to the old fundamentals of football as far as just these fourth downs on their own field position. Back in the day, you would never go for it on your own 40 in the freaking third quarter.
Oh, hell no.
You see what I'm saying? And they'll go for it on 4th and 1. Stuff like that.
And it goes back to the other question, too, with analytics and everything like that.
And then the 2-point conversion of last night.
That was a dumb move. He should have just took the point.
That goes as far as the fundamental question, I think, is what he's asking.
Okay, then that kind of changes that out a little bit than what I was trying to say. But, I think now it's kind of like based on the skill position.
But do you think it's moving away from football, is what he's saying?
Kind of in a way, yeah.
From the basics.
Yeah.
It is.
I think so. Like now, you see a lot more teams going for fourth down, or going for those 2 points. Like I mean, like nowadays, like it's always like you think to yourself when you were like playing Madden, like fuck it, it's 4th down, I'm gonna go for it on Madden.
Yeah.
But like now, it's like Madden in real life. It's like it's 4th and 2. Fuck it, we're going for it.
Well, these are a bunch of guys that were playing Madden. You see, so that's what it is.
So I think it has moved away from the original fundamentals of how football was.
I definitely see it as of every sport. It kind of gets deeper. I think it's more of a money thing. And the fundamentals was a great for the sport and all, but offense sells tickets, and that's what the NFL is trying to promote. Because you see what's going on in basketball. You don't even see any defense at all anymore. You guys are shooting from the damn logo. So I see the football heading that way, which I don't like. I love the fundamentals of the sport as far as just rushing the ball and defense and play actions. All about finesse. And on 3rd and 3, punt that shit. I don't give a damn. Why
3rd and 3?
Yeah, punt that shit. If you're on your own 40, punt it. Play field position. That old school fundamental stuff. And that goes back to basketball. Get in the post. Fucking do little hook shots. Do that old school shit. But it's a new era. It's a new change. This is where we're going. It's the money.
Yeah.
You got to move with the money. And I think that's where it's going.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is now.
Yeah. Well, Juan, I mean, we covered the questions. We did our power rankings. Any other little stuff you want to cover?
I was going to ask you. We'll do one each. We'll do one side each. Okay. In the AFC, who's a team that you could potentially see right now where the rank, where they're sitting at? Who can you see make a push in this next quarter of the season to take over that division? Either take over or like come climbing right back up to the top.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Bengals, and that's a part of the reason why I didn't hit the panic button. They're a game behind the Ravens. I know the Bengals schedule gets a lot easier, and Ravens have a tougher schedule, so I can see them either tying them or taking the division once we get to the half point
Yeah, so you
What
can
about
see them
you,
making
Juan?
a comeback. I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Chargers. Oh, that's
I
cool.
see the Chargers. The Chargers have the next 4 games aren't too bad. They got a bye in there, but the reason why I picked the Chargers is because the Chiefs actually have a tougher games coming up. So I mean, if the football gods work in the favor of the Chargers, I think they can help them either tie up with the Chiefs or maybe even pass them. They
Definitely.
both got buys coming up this week. In this next upcoming weeks. But again, like I said, the opponents that the Chiefs have are a lot harder than what the Chargers have.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
What do you got in the NFC then?
In the NFC, I'm gonna go with the Packers.
Okay,
I see the
Vikings.
Packers. I could see the Packers coming back on the Vikings and taking back the division. Again, same situation. They got a lot easier games than
That's
the
pretty
Vikings.
good.
Who you got in the NFC?
I have to go with the most obvious one. It's kind of boring, but I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys just based on they're one game back and they play each other this week.
That's gonna be a
I'm
good
gonna have to
game.
go with that one, Cowboys. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in to the first quarter of the season episode, and we love when you guys come back, man. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank y'all for tuning in. All right, y'all. Gone.
Peace.